Gets the white. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome on to a brand new edition here of the Patriots Touchback Podcast. It is Season 2, Episode 3, and we're in for a big show tonight. I'm your host, Carl, KB Arsenal Pats 32. I am your host, and I'm joined tonight by Nick, Johnny, and Kieran. Sadly, unfortunately, DJ and Luke can't be with us tonight, but they have sent over their mock drafts, so we will dissect them first before we get put in the mastermind chair. First things first, gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Yeah, all good. I've been plowing through tape the last couple of days in my spare time. There is nothing more exciting than watching a fourth round guard.
Are you talking about Cole Strange again?
Yeah.
It should have been Cole Strange anyway. Nick, you all right?
Yeah, good. I had a break from the draft this weekend. Was on other football duty, so was at Wembley on Saturday recovering from last Wednesday. But you know, it is what it is. Back to the draft.
Indeed it is. It is draft time. So before we get cracking on with the show, please make sure you smash the like button on the video, hit the subscribe button while you're at it, tell all your friends. The Patriots' third overall pick. It's gonna get very interesting, and make sure you follow us on the sports social media for the podcast and so on. Right, gentlemen, we've got a lot to go through tonight. So this is going to be a mock draft for everyone. You're all going to be put under the knife, excluding DJ and Luke, because obviously they cannot be here tonight. But what we have got for them is basically their own mock drafts, which I should have here somewhere. First things first, guys. How many mock drafts have you done literally between the three of you? Because I've done about probably 5 or 6 mock drafts, and it's all changing round all the time. So what's everyone's...
Are we talking just today or in general?
Just in general. Just in general, leading up to today, if that makes sense.
I honestly could not tell you the amount. I have been spamming the simulator with various different outcomes. I've almost worn it out now. I may know that when we get to the latter rounds, like I may know nothing about these players, but I'll recognize them by name, having seen them pop up in mock drafts over and over again. So yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, similar thing for me, I think, trying to kind of fiddle around with possibilities and what, permutations of what might happen in the 6th and 7th round, and thinking, who's this guy? Why do I want the third string defensive end from UCLA? Why not? Let's go for it.
Okay, so up first we're gonna have DJ. Obviously can't be with us tonight, but this is who he has gone for. So at number 3 pick, he's taken Jada Daniels, quarterback out of LSU. With the 2nd round pick, he's took Lad McConkey. Number 68, he's took Blake Fisher, the offensive tackle of Notre Dame.
Wow.
He's took He's took Johnny Wilson. Sorry, not Wilkinson. That's I botched that one. He's a good kicker.
He is a good kicker, yeah.
So Johnny Wilson, wide receiver at Florida State. Then he took, for the 137th pick, Marshawn Lloyd, running back out of USC. For the 180th pick, he took Mohamed Kamara, edge out of Colorado State. And then with the 193rd pick, he took Joe Milton III, quarterback out of Tennessee. So there's 2 quarterbacks taken in this draft. And then at 231, he picked Jordan Whittington, wide receiver out of Texas. Let's go around the horn quickly. JD, what do you make of his picks there? First things first, the picture he sent me for this thumbnail is absolutely hilarious. It looks like Mr. Marwin Watership Down, but anyhow, what's your take on it, on his mock draft? Because there's some nice picks in there, and then there's a few head scratches in there. What do you think?
I think kind of the first 3 picks. I mean, it's probably a tad early for Blake Fisher for me at that point.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him in the later rounds, but probably wouldn't want to reach up at 68 for him. The first 2 picks I don't have much problem with. I'm assuming Jaden Daniels was a selection based on the fact that Drake May wasn't available. I would assume he would have gone second. Had Drake May been available, I would have preferred May there over Daniels. But McConkey, I'm a fan of. I'm only concerned with McConkey to the Patriots. I don't think McConkey's probably a true number 1. I think he would work better as a 2, which I don't necessarily think we have. Johnny Wilson, a decent outside receiver. I know there's a lot of talk about him converting to tight end, but I think in the 4th round, sort of, looking at the back end of day 2, I wouldn't be against taking a flyer on somebody who's just as unusual as Johnny Wilson is. He's a strange receiver. He's more athletic than he should be for his size, but is he athletic enough? Like he's great against single coverage and man coverage, as PFF kind of tracks him really highly in that regard because, well, he's just 6'6" and huge, so of course he is. But in zone coverage, he really struggles. So whether he would struggle in our offense, I don't know. I'm glad to see that his early sort of first 5 picks are all offensive players because that's what I want out of this draft is offensive skill position players and weapons. Joe Milton, I just don't know what to make of him. He's a tight end who can throw the ball really far. I think that's probably it.
That probably sums up really. Although Joe Milton did throw the hardest ball in the combine, but that's a bit like throwing the hardest pitch. That doesn't mean you're accurate.
Just on Joe Milton, just like can you foresee a world where he just becomes like Taysom Hill, where he's just going to come in and do a load of random stuff? I mean, it seems to work well for the Saints, but I mean, I just can't see him doing anything else other than that, to be honest.
I wonder if that's DJ's thinking, oh, maybe we could put a Taysom Hill type of thing. Why don't you just get a proper traditional fullback? I know they're like Hades Comet; they don't really exist anymore, apart unless it's Carl Juszczyk. But
yeah, there is a guy in this draft who I think would fit that role very nicely, and that's Ben Sinnott from Kansas State. I think he could be a nice tight end H-back hybrid.
Yeah, no, he is supposed to be the second tight end to come off the board, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So what do you think of DJ's mock, Nick?
You heard me say wow, and I kind of agree with Johnny. He's taken Blake Fisher at 68. Now, I'm all for taking Blake Fisher. Like I said, as a Notre Dame fan, having watched him however many times on Sky this last season, plus seeing him in Ireland in the summer, I love him. I really do. He's no Joe Alt, but he plays. Joe Alt played left tackle. Blake Fisher played right tackle. But I've been on this Pro Football Net, like Kieran said about how many drafts you've done. I know for a fact Blake Fisher is on the board at 109. 68 is a really big reach for Blake Fisher. And sometimes he's not even going on time. He's going much later. You could have got him certainly at 103. Probably you might even get lucky and have got him at 137. So I think Blake Fisher is the big one that sticks out to me because of how big a reach it is. The other thing I would say, I know sort of the other guys touched on it, I wouldn't have gone for Lad McConkey. That's not for any other reason other than I would have picked a tackle at 34. So I would have, if the way you look at it, I'd have taken me QB at 3, I'd have taken me tackle at 34, I'd have taken me wide receiver at 68. And that's when at 103, I'd probably look at someone like Blake Fisher to knock another tackle in. So I get what DJ's doing, and I don't disagree with the way he's done it. I would do slightly different, but I think the biggest thing that I do notice is his reach for Blake Fisher.
Okay, well, just to clarify, Mike Onwenu is a right tackle. Conor McDermott is predominantly a right tackle. Do we really need a third right tackle in Blake Fisher? In all honesty,
as well. Okafor.
You got Okafor as well. So really, left tackle, we've got Jack. So Exactly. So who you got left tackle?
If you end up drafting Michael Penix, Michael Owenu becomes your left tackle because Michael Penix is left-handed. So
you're figuring
you're
figuring the trade down scenario again, aren't you?
I think Nick had a really good point though about taking the tackle first. Kind of getting a tackle in the second round and then getting the receiver in the third. Because I do think while the tackle class is pretty good at the top, I do think that Nick's got a point that after that first round, if some of them drop maybe the beginning of the second, I think it really drops off. So if we had an opportunity to take a decent tackle at 34, it's difficult to know and criticize DJ too much because you don't know what was available and what else was on the board at the time when he was picking. But yeah, I think Nick's got a really good point that I would prioritize tackle in the second round over receiver.
Just on the running back pick as well. I mean, I know, Carl, you said last week that running back isn't a massive priority, but I'm not massive on Marshawn Lloyd myself, but I do think that is worth looking at on day 3. Obviously, we have Ramondre Stevenson on the roster who's in a contract year. Antonio Gibson is a third down back. We're missing that change of pace running back, someone with a bit of juice, a bit of speed. Now, if it's me, and I might well do this if he's on the board in round 4 in my mock, but I'd be looking at someone like Jalen Wright in the middle rounds from Tennessee, just someone that can just stretch the field with pure speed. I think we could definitely use something like that.
Okay.
I think as well.
I can see why DJ's picked a back.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea in day 3 as well because Ramondre was a day 3 pick, and like if you get the chance to potentially not have to pay Ramondre and even replace him with a cheaper alternative like a day 3 running back, I think that's probably a smart idea as well. Because while I do like Ramondre and he's probably one of our more dangerous offensive weapons, and that's probably not saying a lot, but I think we can probably find someone comparable to his skill set later in the draft and not have to pay him.
Yeah, we definitely can. Okay, so we've done DJ's. Now let's move on to Luke's. Here we go. So it looks like someone's stolen his last Jaffa cake because he looks incredibly surprised. Anyhow, you can all see that. So at 3, he's taken Drake May. Obviously, Jaden Daniels went at 2. With the second round pick, he took Kingsley Sumatala, the offensive tackle at BYU. He then, when he double dipped the tackle position, he took Roger Rosengarten, the offensive tackle out of Washington. Then for the 4th round, for the 103rd pick, he took Malik Washington. This is a guy that I really want out of Virginia. 137th pick, he took Gabriel Murphy, edge out of UCLA. 180th pick, he took Sloan Varkey, which is a safety out of Utah, I believe. Yep. 193rd pick, this was the shocker for me. Jordan Travis, a quarterback out of Florida State, he took in a 6th rounder. And then for the 231st pick, he took Jackson Sermon, a linebacker out of California. The Jordan Travis one's quite an interesting one because he is also coming off a torn ACL. And the fact his production fell through the roof, that's quite surprising, to be honest. Nick, what do you reckon regarding of Luke taking Jordan Travis?
I don't really. I haven't taken. Look, this is what I will say. I haven't taken Jordan Travis in any of the 36 mock drafts that I've done. So that's about the best I can say on that. What I would say is I love his pick at 34, Kingsley Sulamata. I've been picking him. I can't remember how many times. If Jordan Morgan hasn't been on when I've been picking at 34, Kingsley has been my second choice. And when we were on if it wasn't last week, it was the week you were missing, Carl, the week before, I said about Roger Rosengarten being one of those quiet names, one of those sort of 2nd, 3rd rounders that you're expecting to take make a statement and could be a sleeper. So I certainly love his picks at 34 and 68, definitely. I've picked Washington a few times on a few drafts, depending on what's been available. So I think, to be fair, Luke has nailed that sort of 2nd, 3rd round trip. I really do like what he's done there. if he picked the right quarterback, he'd have been onto a winner.
Definitely. Kieran?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, obviously, like, I would pick Drake May at number 3 if it was me. I've said that in the previous 2 podcasts. I've also been banging the drum massively for Kingsley Suamataia, who I think is a project, but the raw athleticism there, like the tools and the traits are there. If you can develop him, he's going to be a stud. But I'm not sure I would double dip at tackle back to back in 2nd and 3rd round. I think, once we've got the left tackle on the board, I'm not sure it's something we need to address that early again. So I'd like to have seen a receiver probably in that 3rd round range. I do like Malik Washington, like you guys, but I think he's too similar to what we've already got. He's a smaller slot guy.
If the question is at 68, though, would you say Xavier Legette may still be there, or do you reckon he'll be gone by then?
I think he'd be gone by 68.
I think this is the problem. This is the problem I think we're going to have. Is either you take the tackle round 2 and the receiver round 3, or you take the receiver at round 2 and you take the tackle at round 3. You've got to choose which one. This is going to be the biggest head scratch of the lot. I think we know what we're going to go for day 1. It's going to be quarterback, but day 2 is going to be the interesting ones because, sorry, I lost my train of thought there, because that's going to be paramount to how this all gets built up properly. You look at receivers like a Lad McConkey, like a Xavier Legette. I know Keon Coleman is there, but me and Luke have already had PTSD and keep getting flashbacks to N'Keal Harry, so we'd rather not have that. But then at the tackle position, you've got the likes of Sumatala, you've got the likes of maybe Tyler Guyton could fall. I don't think he will. I think he's going to go to one of the lower the back end teams in the 1st round. You've still got Patrick Paul as well with an 89.5-inch wingspan. The guy's an absolute unit. So it's a case of, do you take a receiver at 2 or do you take the tackle at 2? You just got to make sure that you're balanced out. I think when we do these mock drafts, we're going to start finding out how you lot balance this all out. It's going to be very, very interesting. Johnny, we'll quickly go to you because we need to get cracking on with our own mock draft. So
I like what he's done. I think, as Nick said, kind of those first 3 picks I'm definitely happy with. I think they're good value. I am a Drake May fan, so I do like that selection. Rosengarten and Sumataya are both big guys who are going to contribute well. And really importantly, I think, are both very good run blockers, which I think is going to be massively important to Alex Van Pelt's scheme that he's bringing over. So I think that makes a big difference. Malik Washington, I think Kieran hit on the head. I think that's my concern is him and Pop Douglas kind of redundant. I don't think Pop Douglas is necessarily going to stop me drafting anybody if I really fall in love with Malik Washington, but I do think that's potentially a concern. Sione Vaki, I think the really interesting part is he a running back or a safety? Because he played both at Utah and played both pretty well, to be fair. I wonder if he could potentially be a really good addition for special teams, especially with the new kickoff rules, where we're going to see the returns being more like a run play. So if anybody's watched any of the spring football, the USFL and XFL, which when I was desperate for some football, I've watched a bit of, you saw them running things like trap and duo in kickoff. Which is a little bit different to kind of what we're used to from an NFL kickoff. So I wonder if somebody like Sione Vaki, who can play running back, is used to picking out lanes and using his vision, and can also cover kicks because he's played safety and can tackle. I think he could be a really good selection at that late spot in kind of round 6, where Luke's got him, as someone who can really help out in special teams. And Jordan Travis, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't think he has an arm. He has a real Mac Jones-esque kind of. He makes a 5-yard out. You know how Patrick Mahomes makes every throw look super simple? I feel like Jordan Travis and Mac Jones are the kind of QB that make 5-yard outs look like the hardest throw in the world. And nothing ever looks easy with him. And he does that weird thing where he kicks his leg out like a baseball pitcher, and it makes me uncomfortable. No wonder he broke his leg last season.
I have Jordan Travis as my QB8. I mean, that's not saying a lot, but I have him behind Rattler. I do have him higher than Michael Pratt and some of the other QBs in that range. But
ahead of Sam Hartman?
Yeah, I haven't had Sam Hartman. I just think with him that it's not someone we necessarily need. He's going to go to somewhere that has an established QB1, and he's just going to be somewhere to be on the depth chart as a QB3 option with the developmental traits. I don't think he's awful, but equally he'd not be someone I'd be sprinting the card for in the 6th round.
Yeah. I think if he is there in the 6, I don't see a problem with it with taking him. I just don't know. In a team with that many holes, I'd rather take a flyer on someone that can contribute rather than a developmental QB prospect.
Okay, right. So let's just get back on screen now. So here we go. We're going to start with our draft, but I can't do it without this little thing. Hopefully this works. So JD, you because you're that special, I made it sure it looped. Anyway, so JD, you are going to be up first, sir.
I really thought you were going to give Nick the
board.
satisfaction of going first and not selecting Drake May. I thought you were going to let him do the honors.
No, the newbies are the guinea pig. No, the newbies are the guinea pigs. So you and
enough.
Kieran will be going first and second, respectively. Nick will go third, and I will go last. So, Johnny, you are on the clock. So, as you can see, currently on the board. Let me just get
so Caleb's already gone to Chicago, and Drake
Caleb's
May.
gone to Chicago, and Drake May's already gone to Washington. So, are you taking Jane Daniels?
Yeah,
are you taking Marvin Harrison? Are you?
I think in this scenario, my deal would be if Drake May's off the board, I would like to trade down. Obviously, we're not going to do trades because that complicates things. But I still think I would go with Jaden Daniels. I think Drake May's a much better scheme fit. I'm not sure how Daniels fits into Alex Van Pelt's scheme, but the threat that he offers as a runner, I think, does add a bit more threat to play action, which we're going to, I think, see a lot of next season. So I will, with the third overall pick, I will select Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU, please.
Okay, so now we're going to get a number of players go off the board. Pardon me. JJ McCarthy to the Raiders. That's not.
We're seeing a few trades here from the computer. See, the Saints traded up to 9 to take Joel.
That's wow.
That's about 7 picks in a row that were trades there.
Yeah, I know. And the Titans. I saw the Titans pass on Joe Alt to take Terrion Arnold.
Wow.
Okay. As I said, we are not taking bloody Tway. And yeah.
Right.
In other grand news, we are slapping up Chelsea. Kai Havertz has just scored a second goal. Oh my word! Anyhow, back on topic. So, pick 34. Right. So let's.
Could you click on the offense tab for me, please? I'm not interested in defense right now.
Okay, so you've got Bo Nix. Nope. You've got Keon Coleman, Jordan Morgan, Christian Haynes, Ladd McConkey, Zach Fraser, Trey Benson, Jalen Polk out of Washington. Cooper Bebe, offensive guard of Kansas City. It's your pick. It's your choice.
Pick Jordan Morgan.
Ooh, I'm torn between McConkey and Morgan, but looking at, I think players who can contribute immediately, I feel like McConkey will contribute quicker than Jordan Morgan. And to be honest with you, the tackles that I'm probably comfortable taking at this point, I think are probably gone. I'm a bit lower on Jordan Morgan, so I'll probably take Ladd McConkey, please.
Okay. So Morgan's gone to Washington. Nothing really standing out at the moment. Xavier Leggett's gone to the Jets. Oh, really? Sake. So Bo Nix has gone to the Steelers. What? That is the most lopsided quarterback we'll ever see. Rusty, Justin Fields and Bo Nix. Holy smoke. Anyhow, right. Not taking the trades. So,
this is interesting.
Cameron Kitchens went. Who said Cameron Kitchens? Was that Luke last week?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was Luke. That was Luke. So Cameron Kitchens just goes. So you're at 67. So let's see what you need. So quarterback, obviously, we took corner, offensive tackle, tight end that you need. So
right, there's no tackles or anything coming in here that I'm a fan of. No. I'll tell you what, scroll up to the top for me, please. I this for me is between Roman Wilson and Ricky Pearsall. If there's not a tackle available that I kind of am in love with, the tackle out of Yale I do like, but probably not this high. And out of the two, Wilson or Pearsall, I think Wilson probably has more outside receiving threat, which is probably what we need. So I would take Roman Wilson, please.
You'll take Roman Wilson. So you're taking back-to-back receivers in rounds 2 and rounds 3.
Yep.
Blake Corum goes to the Jets. Oh, Jesus Christ. Devontae Walker goes to the Jets. Johnny Wilson's still on the board. Bucky Irvin is sitting there, maybe. If you're looking to get a running back, possibly.
I'm eyeing up Blake Fisher. That's what I'm hoping, that he falls to this point. Come on.
There's Blake Fisher's 109. He's there. But you also have Bucky Irvin. You've got Spencer. Cade Stover is there as well. Tell you what, it felt nice.
Jermaine Burton.
I know. Do you know what? If Blake Fisher had gone, it would be 3 receivers in a row. Because I know he punched a female fan, and that is inexcusable. And I think, to be honest with you, if we had a more established kind of culture, I would very much consider taking Burton. But I think looking at the kind of reset of the Patriots, I don't think guys like Devondre Sweat and Jermaine Burton are somebody I really want to draft right now, because I think we need kind of culture tone setters. So yeah, if Blake Fisher's on the board at 103, I would very happily take him.
Okay, so Blake Fisher's coming to us then. So your picks so far, just scroll through. Jaden Downs at 3, Lamb McConkey 34, Roman Wilson 68, Blake Fisher at 103, 137.
Johnny's done more for our offense in the last 5 minutes than what Bill Belichick has done in the last 3 years.
That is pretty,
I love that.
That's getting clipped.
I was going to say, yeah, that feels like you really set me up to fail there.
Okay, so here we go. So you pick 137.
Could you hit all for me, please? Just see what defensive players are still on the board. Now I'm in the 4th, sort of 5th round. I'm willing to kind of consider defensive players. Nah, nobody there that I'm not interested in. Jalen Wright for me, please. I think Jalen Wright
Great choice.
Kieran mentioned him earlier, but he's one of my favorite running backs in this year's draft, which I really don't think there's a massive difference between most of the running backs, to be honest. I think they're all kind of much of a muchness, really.
Your first 5 picks, 5 out of 8 picks, it's all been offense. Quarterback, receiver, offensive tackle, running back.
Yeah. If that's the way the draft falls, I'll be very happy.
We'll probably say this is the best draft in 20 odd years.
Yeah. Well, my theory is if you throw enough of the proverbial at the wall, some of it's going to stick, right? And we need talent on offense. So at least one of these guys has got to be good, you know?
Okay, we're at 180th picks, so we're going to see. Here we go. So we are getting into the back end of the draft now. So it's basically throw a die, hopefully hit the bullseye.
Yeah, keep scrolling for me, please. And again. I do quite like Trey Taylor. I tell you what, can you hit special teams for me, please?
You are not taking a kicker.
Right.
Right. You're taking a kicker or punter.
No, right. Last year, our punter was abysmal. He ranked 38th in the NFL in punting yardage, right? There were only 39 people who attempted to punt last year, right? And he was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And I think, especially with an offense that's developing, and I think a good punter could be quite important next year to get our rookie, a very young offense out of some holes. So Tory Taylor, who's like a 26-year-old Australian punter who has an absolute leg, he's going to be my 6th round pick, but he's on my first 6th round pick.
That's useful freaking information, isn't it? Coming soon.
Coming soon. I mean, the draft's in 2 days.
No one's got information on a punter. All we know is that he's an Aussie. Okay,
yep.
so you're taking
He's ranked 368, so there's a chance he could be a UDFA anyway.
He'll probably a UDFA.
In the PFF mock draft.
To be fair, he's probably.
We'll take it.
He's ranked.
He's probably on
PFF.
Kieran's list for tomorrow to watch. He's probably on Kieran's list of video.
No, he's a guy I've had my eye on, and I've consistently drafted him in the 6th round on the PFF mock draft. He's like 180 ranked on PFF, and he's a hell of a player. So I'm quite excited to have him, to be honest.
Okay, so with that, you finally took a punter. Now there's 2 picks of 193. Here we go. We're in late in the 6th round.
Now here, like I mentioned earlier, is where I'm thinking about special teams. Could you check for me if Vaki is still on the board? I don't know if he
on special teams.
No, just if you just search Vaki, Vaki, Sione Vaki. I don't know whether he's down as a running back or a safety.
I can't search it. I've just got to scroll down
to the top. I think there's a little search bar.
Yeah, I can see him. He's on that list. I just saw his name.
There it is, 209.
I will have Sione Vaki, please, because I think he's going to be a good special teams addition.
Okay. So that was your left on pick 231, the final pick in this one. So there isn't really a lot there.
No.
I can't wait for a long snapper to come out now.
Well, to be fair, the rate our kicker kicked out last year, if Will Reichard's still on the board, I may potentially double there, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to a kicker in round 7 after watching Chad Ryland last year.
Yeah.
Okay, pick 231.
Misses most kicks, and then the one we want him to miss against Denver, so we get the second pick, is he bloody makes, doesn't he?
Callback receiver, tackle, running back.
I'm tempted with Carson Steele just because his name is absolutely fantastic.
So you want 2 running backs?
No, I'm joking. I don't really want Carson Steele, please.
Okay.
Scroll down for me a little bit, please. Keep going. Could I have Muasau? Muasau? I can't remember how you pronounce his name. Darius Muasau, 250 out of UCLA. I quite liked when I was watching a bit of Laiatu Latu, who I'm a big fan of. I kind of liked the way he played opposite him. He stood out a little bit, so I would like Muasau, please.
Okay. That's all your picks done then. So it will pop up in a minute. 252, I think it is the last picks usually in the draft. $257. Okay, we're almost there now. Anyway. Okay, so it's going to pop up now. Okay, so with your selections, you took Jaden Daniels, you took Lab McConkey, Roman Wilson, Blake Fisher, Jalen Wright, the punter, Tory Taylor.
No regrets.
Sion Vak, safety out of Utah, and Darius Moussaoua, linebacker out of UCLA. So, gentlemen, what do we make of JD's draft? What's your take on it?
I think he's been sniffing glue.
Okay. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to take a practice run on tomorrow. I applaud Jay your ambition for the new offense. We do need one, but I'm afraid Blake Fisher much as I respect the man. I've just said that in the previous draft. I'm glad you picked him. I kind of think you should have sacrificed a wide receiver, one in either 2 or 3 for a tackle, because we have got too many holes to wait to go with just the one. So Yeah, I applaud your ambition. We're gonna play Kevin Keegan type football and just score more points than the other team. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I probably would have liked to have addressed tackle. I think I said earlier, in an ideal world, I would have addressed tackle at the top of the second. I just wasn't necessarily a fan. I mean, Jordan Morgan, I potentially could have taken over like McConkey. I think I probably maybe would do if I had a redo. But I just think like McConkey is, for me, with Jaden Daniels, he was at his best at LSU when he had weapons on the outside. And I think McConkey and Roman Wilson can contribute to the outside. And I think that's something he probably needs in order to help him develop. And I wasn't a fan of the tackles that were left in 2 and 3. And it wasn't until the 4th of Blake Fisher where I felt like there was somebody of value at that position.
I guess in that play style as well, if we're going to have a line that's going to give up a lot of pressure on the left-hand side in particular, he's going to need guys that are going to get open very quickly. And that is what Lad McConkey and Roman Wilson will do, as will Pop Douglas. So I quite like that. And obviously, big fan of the Jalen Wright pick because I think he's the ideal fit in the middle of rounds for us.
Yeah, I think it helps us get faster as well, which is kind of what I wanted.
So can we just have a grade? Have a grade on JD? Kieran, what would you give a grade on that draft?
I'm going to give him an A-. It would have been higher, but I'm not taking a punt at that high. Sorry.
Wait till you see his tape.
Okay, Nick.
B-.
It's a pass.
It's a pass. I'm gonna say B+. I'm gonna say a B+. I am. I do like the first 2 picks. I absolutely love. Blake Fisher's a right tackle, and predominantly we need left tackle help. I think what downgrades you, I think a little bit, is taking the punter. That's the only thing that I feel like it drops it down to. But the rest of it, Jalen Wright, I saw a little bit of video footage on him a few days ago, and he does look quite sprightly. So I think he'll be good. Roman Wilson out of Michigan. It's a difficult one for me because obviously JJ McCarthy barely passed. So it's very, very hard to me to put a grade on Roman Wilson. But I'll give you a B+. I'll give you a B+ for your grade on that particular draft. So fairly good effort. Okay. Kieran, you are now in the hot seat. So it's loading. When it decides to load, it's a bit like it's like our offense, slow. Okay, and a solo draft. Here we go. Okay, so we started off on the board. Well, we're not taking any of the trades, no matter who fucking throws it at us. Right. Wow, Jake mate. So Chicago to Jake. Then Caleb Williams goes, so Jaden Daniels is sitting there for the taking. Or are you going to twist?
Well, I would have taken Drake May. Nick must be loving this, the fact that none of us are going to be able to take him so far. So, yeah, I'm going to double down then. Same as before, I go Jaden Daniels because I don't want anything to do with JJ McCarthy that high.
Okay. Marvin Harrison, Joe Alp's gone. Malik Neighbors, Fashionua, Dallas Turner, Odunze. McCarthy goes to Denver. Oh, God.
Well, Brock, Jets have done well.
He's in the quarterback. He's
getting Brock.
He's in a quarterback with he's a quarterback club with Jared Stidham and Zach Wilson. Oh, pray for him. Bloody pray for him.
What do you think about that move today or yesterday? Today.
I spat my coffee out and then I was rolling on the floor dying. That's how I felt.
I was just before we continue, I was quite surprised because if you'd have waited, I'm sure the Jets were going to cut him. So I'm quite surprised that the Broncos chose to take half his salary and get a 6th round pick back for him. You know, trade a 6 for a 7 and take half his salary and actually take him on rather than have him on a veteran minimum 1.1 in however many weeks when he's released. I was, I guess it's insurance for the fact that they are in need of cover at that position. But I was just quite surprised that the trade actually happened rather than letting him get released and then picking him up. But go on, carry on. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Right, okay. So, Kieran, round 2. Here we go.
Well, this is throwing up a big dilemma here because I am massive on Kingsley Suamataia, but you've got arguably one of the most talented defensive players still on the board at this stage. And the temptation to take Cooper DeJean right here and pair him with Gonzalez on the outside is very
here's a question. Here's a question. Do you want to piss off the fan base? Because they will get pissed off if we take a safety at round 2.
Possibly. I think there would be some understanding
it gives us Kyle Duggar vibe, but at least Cooper DeJean is actually, a first round.
He should be long gone by this point.
He should
and
be.
I think in reality, if this happened and he's on the board at 34, you would consider it. But also, you'd be fielding trade calls here because I'm sure lots of teams would be wanting to come up and take him. But just for the sake of going with positional need over the shiny toy in the back end, I'm going to take Kingsley Suamataia because I think that's a bigger need for us right now.
6'4", 326, built like a brick shit house. Yeah. According to his stats, it looks like you're pretty. Yeah.
Look at that relative athleticism score as well. A 9.4 RAS.
He is a monster athletically.
It's a big man.
That's something we need. So we just say Kingsley Suamataia is gone.
And as well, a mauler in the run game, which is what Van Pelt's going to love that. So, he's probably my ideal second round pick.
Okay.
So even the get goes to South, goes to Carolina. Poor Git.
Doesn't have to move at least.
Malachi Corley?
How did Ernest Mitchell last till the 50s? Jeez.
Okay, so can you click wide receiver for me, please? And I just want to see what the receiver board looks like. I think it's going to have to be Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
Out of that lot. My comp for him is Michael Pittman. I actually think he's a little bit better on the outside than he gets credit for. I know he might just be a big slot, but stylistically, I think he is very similar to Michael Pittman. I think he's quite slick, and I think he's the best receiver on the board at that point. So, Ricky Pearsall, please.
You take him over Jalen McMillan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would,
6'1", 189. Jalen McMillan, 6'1", 196. Yeah, there's not much in it, to be honest. Okay, with your draft. So, Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida, we take at 68.
I think that is a pretty great draft so far. In terms of
Daniels, Suamataia, and Ricky Pearsall. Good, really good so far.
If it went like that, I'd be very happy.
Now this is probably where it goes bloody sideways. But anyway,
it's funny because Pearsall's comp on the PFF draft guide is Edelman.
What about the offensive tackle out of Yale who's just disappeared off my screen?
Amagaji.
If you took. So if you did
this board is falling perfectly for me. I don't even have to think about this one right now. Just I talk about a running back in the middle round. I love Bucky Irving. I think he is a sensational player. And we need another running back. So get me Bucky Irving. I think he's exactly like Dion Lewis. Might clash a little bit with Antonio Gibson, but he's so fun to watch. I think he'd be a playmaker in offense. So I was considering then Austin Booker, but I want to load up on offense.
Coming up to our pick now. Here we come. Jalen Wright was still on the board, mate. You could have waited and took Jalen Wright.
I could have taken Booker and then gone with Jalen Wright. That would, in hindsight, would have been a nice thing to do. You just scroll down a little bit for
double dip.
I don't know if I'm going to take backers. Just keep going forward. I just want to see what sort of range we're in here. Okay, I'm going to take Nick's guy suggestion from last week. I do think we need to look at maybe adding another corner. So I am going to take Cam Hart out of Notre Dame at pick 137.
Well, I've looked at him and I actually like this guy as well. So, okay. So you've got a positional leader, off a tackle, wide receiver, corner. So you've basically got all the 4 pieces except for the tight end position. Now,
considering we added
Wilcox earlier on today, he's more sort of a run blocker. I still personally think you do need to get another tight end in there. If you're going to rely on Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry to be your pass catchers, you do need 1, maybe 2 blockers. And there's a tight end sitting in round 5 that just absolutely screams as a blocker. But this is your draft, not mine. So, okay, off we go. Pick 180.
Okay, so far this isn't revving my engine. So if you just scroll down a little bit for us, let's have a look at what's coming. Keep going a little bit. Okay, this is very much a project pick. I think he's definitely going to be a rotational, like situational sub rusher to start with. But I do like the upside with his speed and athleticism, and that is Xavier Thomas out of Clemson, defensive end. So I'm going to take him, please.
Okay, has he got any detailing? No, absolutely not. God, this fucking website's useless.
I think he's quite similar stylistically to Josh Uche, but obviously you're in the 6th round now. I think they've got a lot of similar skills. He's very speedy, very explosive, and Uche's only got 1 more year left, so I think that would be a nice little replacement.
Well, you saw it on his RAS there, the 8-point whatever it was. Like I think he's someone who's a really good athlete, just perhaps technically and isn't there yet.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back on the board again here, are we?
Back on the board again. Yeah,
just scroll back up to the top for me.
Yep.
Okay, and then come back down again. Yeah, I just wanted to see who was at the top of the board. I'm not going to take Jaheim Bell. Tempted to take Dalen Holker just because I really like what I've seen from him, but I don't know if I want to go tight end really. I'm going to take, if you scroll up to the top, I've seen this guy get a little bit of buzz, and that's Christian Boyd from Northern Iowa. But he looked very good in the Shrine Bowl, and we could use some interior defensive line depth. So yeah, I'll take Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa, please.
Okay. I'm going to take Christian Boyd, defensive tackle. Nice little 2-way partnership to go alongside Christian Barmore, possibly.
And this is my 7th round pick, isn't it?
Yep,
could literally be anything.
This could take a punter.
if Hulk is on the board, I'd be tempted, but I don't know if he will be.
Oh, he's sitting there as well. No way he is sitting there. Oh, okay. Go on.
Okay, final pick. Go. We could use some interior offensive line depth in the latter round, and plus it's a dart throw at round 7. Give me a Michigan Wolverine national champion, Drake Nugent.
Nothing on him. 6'1", 298. That's massive for a guard. For a guard. Okay. Drake Nugent, you take. Those are all your picks. It'll just come up when we reach 257. We're a long way to go yet. But that was actually for me. I'm just clicking on it. I thought, yep, good. Most of it is all very good picks. You took a tackle in the 2nd round. Yeah, I actually think you've done. I think you've done pretty stellar there, to be honest, Kieran. If I'm honest with you.
Thank you very much.
No worries. So here we
There
go
we go.
then. So here's your pick. So pick number 3, took Jaden Daniels. 34, Kingsley Sumantaya, offensive tackle at BYU. 68, you took Ricky Purcell, wide receiver out of Florida. 103rd pick, you took the young, sprightly Bucky Irving, running back out of the Oregon Ducks. You took Cam Hart, the quarterback out of Notre Dame. You then took Xavier Thomas, edge out of Clemson. You said this was a development pick, you could say. Christian Boyd, defensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. And then you take, just as a bit of fun, Drake Nugent, offensive guard out of the Michigan Wolverines. So let's reverse it this time. Nick, what do you make of this one then?
I like it. I don't dislike it, same as I didn't dislike Johnny's. Again, you're not trading anywhere. You can't not picking up Daniels, Solomon Tara, yeah, all good with that. I'm glad there's some fighting Irish in there. It's always good to have a bit of fighting Irish power. So yeah, I mean, again, it's a draft that's going to improve the roster at the very least.
Okay. Johnny, what about you? What do you make of Kieran's draft?
Yeah, especially the early rounds. I think the board fell. If it fell like this, I would be a very happy man on draft day, especially those first 3 picks. I mean, I'd prefer Drake May over Jaden Daniels, but obviously that's nothing to do with you. The Drake May was already gone, so I think that was the right pick at that point. Yeah, Sumantaya, I just think is an absolute mauler and a beast, and I'm really happy with that. Ricky Pearsall, so I mentioned it earlier, his PFF comp is Julian Edelman, and I think he would, I mean, just for the catch he made last year alone, it is worth drafting him. Yeah, Bucky Irving's good, I like him. Let's say quite a pacey, good back that I think would add in kind of the play action game as well. Xavier Thomas and Christian Boyd, I guess guys who perhaps have good athleticism, but kind of not maybe the physical sort of frame for the NFL.
Yeah.
I consider kind of their arm length and stuff like that. That's probably not what we're looking for. Cam Hart is injury kind of prone, but could be a decent player based on what we've seen if he can stay healthy. And yeah, Drake Nugent's a smart center, and that's something I think you see with guys like Jason Kelsey and David Andrews and stuff who can hang around if they're not quite top shelf athletes just by being smart players. So I think that's in the 7th round, that's a wonderful pick. So yeah, really, I'd be very happy if the draft fell like this.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've done a stellar job there. Obviously, take Jaden Daniels. Then you took an offensive tackle, Ricky Purcell. You had a bit of a choice there on the 3rd round for receivers, but you decided to take him. I do like the Bucky Irving pick. I feel like running back is not really necessarily a big need for us, but if he was there on the board and we were there, I don't think you could blame us if we did actually take him. It's another body on the offense. And Cam Hart, I've looked a little bit of his tape. It does seem like a very, very decent player. And as you said, the rest are all developmental pieces. And then you took Drake Nugent to add another bit of tackle to give Cole Strange stranger things. So let's go to grades. Nick, what's your grade for Kieran's draft?
I'm going to give it exactly the same as Johnny. I'm going to give it a B.
Have we got Craig Revel Holwood in the judges room or something? Because I feel like you're being incredibly harsh. JD, what about you?
Hang on a minute. You guys haven't seen mine yet.
As my students know, I'm quite a kind marker, and yeah, I would give this an A. I think. Especially considering the way the board fell, you can say things like Cam Hart kind of perhaps lacks deep speed, Xavier Thomas and stuff, shorter arms, things like that. But I think at the position you got them, and getting Drake Nugent in the 7th, I think is a great pick as well. So I think the board fell really nicely for you, and I think you made great decisions at the points you needed to. So yeah, A.
I will probably say A-. A solid draft, none of an S. You picked the right players that you needed to. There's just Christian Boyd I don't know of, and Xavier
That was
Thomas,
purely like his 6th round. I'd seen him get some buzz off the back of the Shrine Bowl, so we could use some depth in the interior defensive lines. That was very much an educated guess, but naturally I would have preferred Drake May to be the pick at number 3, but I'm pretty happy with how the rest of the board fell. I do agree with John. I think the board did fall quite nicely for me to make very easy decisions. Yeah,
I think you had some decisions to make, like receiver in the 3rd round, but I think you made the same decisions I would have made in the same situation. So I'm going to think it's good.
Yep, all good, all good. Let me just do this quickly. I'm just trying to snip the draft selections so I know which ones you have taken. There we go. Right, all good. So let's go. Go JD draft. There we go.
My God.
All good.
I've just seen the Leicester Southampton score. I'm switching my phone off.
Oops. Right. Okay then.
The record of listeners, I support Ipswich Town, and we're in a battle. And I've just seen Leicester have won 5-0 against Southampton. So, looks like it's probably between us two, Johnny, for that second spot.
Yeah, as a Leeds fan, I'm not too averse to that result, so that gives us a bit of breathing room. So I don't mind that.
All right, Nick, you are up next, and it seems like the draft board has fallen the same way as it did for instead for Kieran.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be fun.
Excellent.
Here we go.
I can't draft. I can't trade down. But if I was going to pick a QB at 3. The man I want is on the board. So I will take number 4, please. Jaden Daniels.
So I think everyone's taking Jaden Daniels in this draft board at this rate. We're going to be having people whinge on X saying, "Oh, why didn't I take Drake May?" It's like we couldn't.
I'll be honest. If the computer had taken Williams and Daniels and I'd have been left with May and I can't trade down, I'd have been taking JJ. So, there you go. That's the way it is.
The Drake May shade is wild.
Okay, pick number 34. So, oh wow. The tackles have gone.
Oh.
Kingsley Samataya and Jordan Morgan have all gone.
Oh, who let the Ravens have Cooper DeJean? That feels like a cheat code.
Oh, right. Okay.
Kyle Hamilton.
Just scroll down that board just a little bit for me. Right. Okay. I'm going to go with a man that should help our interior offensive line. Top of the list, I'm going to go with Jackson Powers.
That's a good pick.
You're probably talking him as a centre, but obviously you've got another year of David Andrews yet. So I would probably throw him to right guard. And then when David Andrews is done, I would move him into centre ahead of Jake Andrews. So you would take
what you don't you mean left guard or just
no? Because at left guard I've got Cole Strange at the moment.
The City was improving to the back end of last year. That's why I'm a little bit okay. So Jackson Powers Johnson has gone. Okay, no tackle, no receiver as of yet. We'll see.
I think that was a good pick, though, with the way the board fell. I think getting him in that spot is a good shout. That is a wide man.
Okay, keep on going. Here we go. Pick 68.
Hold on.
Pick 68.
Hold on. They took him. Fuckers.
Who did they take?
Ruka. The Cardinals took Ruka Rororo, who I was eyeing.
Oh. Okay.
Because I think he's a big sleeper. I tell
you what, this draft has not fallen anywhere nicely at all for you.
Yeah, it hasn't
Right,
fallen wonderfully.
68. Right, okay. Scroll me down just a little bit. And a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to drop that. I don't want to drop this far. Right, up we go to the top. Right, okay. I'm gonna I think I'm exactly where your cursor is. I'm gonna have to go with Braylon Trice just to get some. I can't be reaching too high. So yeah, we'll go with Braylon Trice. I didn't want to go with him, but
So far, it's been Jaden Daniels, guard, Jackson Powers Johnson / center, and Braylon Trice edge out of Washington. Yeah, it's not falling nicely for you so far. You need tackles and you need receivers, and we ain't got anything.
If this happens to Elliot Wolf, then I think there's going to be a few pitchforks and torches around Gillette Stadium on the night. But the board hasn't fallen for you, Nick, and I do feel for you in that regard.
Carter's gone as well. Oh, right. Well, I'm gonna have to. Is at 109? Is Fisher still there at 109?
No.
Oh, he's gone as well. Oh.
Sucks to be you.
It does suck to be me. Right now, I'd be looking at Trevonde Sweat, but I know his issues, and we commented about him getting drunk at 11:30 in the morning the other week. I can't pick him. I really can't. It's gonna have to be Sanders. It's gonna have to be tight end.
One thing I will say is if Jatavian Sanders is sat there in the 4th round, I think that is outstanding value. So
that is,
yeah, I think that is a home run in round 4.
Right, I know where I've got to go now.
Yeah, I think that's a decent pick for that late, because I saw Jermaine Burton when you scroll down there, Carl, and I was tempted. Everyone's favorite miscreant.
Wonder if there's a world where we get Burton and Sweat on the same roster somewhere this year.
Oh, just Gillette Stadium's on fire.
Hold that. Hold it. It's coming up. No, he's not.
Oh,
he
dear.
went to the point. 2 picks. Two picks.
And he'd go to the Niners and be absolutely fantastic as well, and make everyone look foolish.
All right, go on in.
Right. 157, I think he is. Christian McCaffrey's little brother, Luke. Is he still on the board?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I need a wide receiver. I'm gonna have to take him. I would ideally not take him maybe for another round, but I need a wide receiver. So go on, take McCaffrey. If he's anything like his brother, he'll be a steal.
So you take him over Brendan Rice, basically, which is just went to Arizona.
Yeah, I would.
Because I'm relying on him being Christian Point 2.0.
Yeah, but then on the upscaling of that, you've also got Brendan Rice. Brendan Rice, who is the son to the great Hall of Famer Jerry Rice. If he's got any of his wide receiver traits of his dad, holy smoke!
True.
So, yep. As I said, it is your draft, and you're at pick 180. We're on the board now, coming up soon.
Ooh. Might get a bit of a steal here if.
Oh, come on, stay there, Isaac. Stay there, Isaac. I'll have
Isaac,
please.
Isaac Gorendo, running back out of Louisville.
Yeah, correct. Yes, please.
Okay.
He'll run through a wall. What if
Yeah,
I pick
interesting player. Like a bigger back, but ran a 4.39.
So you take a quarterback, guard, edge, tight end. You've got a receiver, running back, but there is no tackle. No tackle.
I know.
You're going to get murdered. You're going to get murdered.
That's very true. I probably am. Right. Okay. Go to the offense tab.
Okay.
God.
What do you want? Tackle?
A tackle or a center or a guard. What have I got left? Go to guard.
239.
Center. Oh God. Right. I tell you what. I'll just because I heard Field Yates on ESPN talk about him. If you go to center, Charles Turner III.
Okay.
I heard Field Yates talking about him on the first draft podcast about him being one of the chances in the later rounds. So,
Yeah, I'll be very honest with you. This board has looked absolutely shocking for you. Nothing has fallen in the way.
I'm just trying my best with what I've got. Really, it's not great. Of the 36 drafts that I did today, none of them were like this. Right. Give me Austin Reed.
Austin Reed, the quarterback of Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky.
You are basically now freaking. That's desperation mode now.
I'm now on the phone to all my free agents, going, "Look, come and sign with me. We're gonna take the world."
No, you're on the free. You're on the phone to free agents, but specifically the tackles because you ain't got any.
DJ Humphries, Donovan Smith. They're the guys you want.
So,
okay, so Jaden Daniels at 3, Jackson Powers Johnson.
I was happy. I was happy with Daniels. I'm happy that I got Luke McCaffrey. I probably got him one pick higher than I wanted to. Again, I'm happy I got Isaac. I picked him quite a few times today, but I did pick him higher than I have done today. Jackson Powers Johnson, he was early on before the combine. He was talked about being a first rounder. He's dropped a little bit on everybody's board. So, all I could do is do what I can with what I got. So I'm not exactly, I'd give myself an F for that. But, what can I do? I can only work with what I got.
I'll probably give you a C for this. I'll probably give you a C. It's not great, but it's not worse. It could have been a lot worse. You got the quarterback. You took Jatavion Sanders, who were at great value in round 4, which is absolutely stupid. Luke McCaffrey, would have preferred Brendan Rice, probably more of an X receiver, but hey-ho. It's a C for me, unfortunately. But the board fell so badly for you, so I can't really do anything about that. Kieran, what about you?
I'm going to be a little bit more generous and say C+. And the reason I'm going to say C+ is obviously you got good value with getting JPJ where you got him. Although I have him as my 3rd rated center. So as much as I like him and think he's a great player, I do prefer Barton and Frazier over him in terms of that position. I think Braylon Trice is going probably exactly where I'd expect him to go. I think Sanders in the 4th round is an absolute steal. And I think Garendo in the middle 6th is probably round about right. And obviously you got the QB. So it's okay in some phases. Obviously, I'm not sure people would be too happy to come away without a tackle or a wide receiver before round 5. So I go C+.
Okay, JD, what about you?
I think in terms of a C plus is probably. I think an F is probably close. Like you were saying, Nick, in terms of like if this actually happened, how we'd view the draft. I think this is almost a worst case scenario for the Patriots. If this is how it falls, I'm terrified. In terms of what you did, I think a C plus B minus is kind of appropriate because I think you made good decisions probably in a tough scenario. I think first 2 picks I'm happy with. I thought JPJ at 34 is a steal. I think he'd be a really good interior offensive lineman. And the rate guards are getting paid now, getting somebody like that can contribute a guard, I think is good. I would probably have gone Pearsall over Trice just because of the need at receiver. And I think they're roughly comparable in terms of talent at their respective positions. I think Kieran's right. Chevian Sanders is a steal in the 4th. Really happy with that. Luke McCaffrey is the only receiver we get in this draft. Is terrifying. I'm not sure how much he elevates that wide receiver room. I would potentially have gone Marshawn Lloyd over Garendo just because I don't know if Garendo is a bit redundant with Antonio Gibson and potentially doesn't make as many people miss as Marshawn Lloyd does, and that's my concern with him. And then it's a crapshoot later in the draft. Charles Turner's a decent interior offensive lineman as an LSU fan, and Austin Reed is the FCS quarterback. So what are you going to do there? But yeah, overall not bad. I'd like to see a punter, but other than that, no notes.
Okay, right. So here we go. One final mock draft.
You'll get the best. You'll get the best board you've ever seen tonight. You'll get the perfect board in it.
I very much
be the
doubt
only
it.
one that gets to pick Drake May as well.
No, Caleb will fall to 3.
Now we know the draft system needs a break. Okay, here we go. Caleb Williams and Drake May. No, it's not. So that's fine by me. I want this boy. I want him.
All of our listeners, like you said, are going to think we're all in the Jaden Daniels camp.
Yeah,
They've all picked Jaden Daniels.
Everyone listening on Spotify, all the first round that's come down, we've all landed on Jaden Daniels. This is not our job, not our fault that we can't take Drake May. It's not. This is just where the board is just.
I would have taken Drake May anyway. I would have taken, if I had to, I'd have taken JJ over Drake. So I'm quite happy.
Oh wow! You can't.
Maybe the simulator heard about these. He's not an alpha at Top Golf and thought he's clearly not going to. He's just not. So he has to fall. We're getting a beta QB,
I mean, Carl, you could be contrarian here. You could go for Marvin Harrison and Joe Alt and change it up, or you could take the QB that we haven't
had much luck with tackles so far.
Different.
This will not be because you have to be sincere with this. Like I'm going to take Spencer Rattler in the 3rd round. No, take it, Daniels. Let's see how this falls. Seems to be going the way it looks so far. McCarthy, Jarvis.
I think Minnesota will be happy to stand pat at 11.
Cowboys came up for Faltanu.
Johnny Newton, Brian Thomas, Cuba Jean's gone to Minnesota. Tyler Guyton. I knew Guyton would go early.
The Raiders get panicked.
Keon Coleman, Chop Robinson, Adonai Mitchell. You son of... Oh, okay. Okay, so you have left one of my main targets on there. So McConkey's on there as well. What do I do? Because I've got it in 2 ways here. I've done 2 drafts where I've done receiver tackle and then tackle receiver. Is he going to... Is that tackle going to be there at 3 though? That's the problem. Let's go to offense. Let's go to the tackles. Where is he? He's at pick 92. Where are we? 68. He might be there. I am going to take a humongous risk here, but I'm going to take Lad McConkey. Is he going to be there? That's the problem. I need to get onto the tackle position because it will pop up here. I know Patrick Paul's going to go anytime soon. There he goes.
There you go.
Is he? Come on, see there.
Yeah,
Bo
I think
next to the Browns.
Come on, stay
anything
there.
but
Stay
Deshaun
there.
Watson.
Stay there. Stay there. Come on. Stay there. Come on. Is he there?
Oh.
Yes, he is. Come on.
Oh.
He's there. So, So Roger Rosengarten is there, but
I mean, it's got to be right.
Roger.
The only thing I would say though is Rosengarten, like the point you made earlier, Carl, about he's a right tackle and Amagaji is a left tackle. Now, do you prioritize a better player or someone who's a better fit for the position we need?
It's a better fit for the position we need. So I'm taking Amagaji. It's what I had in one of my mock drafts, and I'm like, that sits perfectly. So the picks so far, Jalen Daniels, Lad McConkey, Kira, and Amaji. So there's your 3 positions there. Okay. Where are we? 103. Where's it sitting for me right now? Tavondre Sweat is still on the board. He's just popped up there.
There you go.
Okay. Interesting.
So you got Tavondre Sweat, Austin Booker is a good on the board, Bucky Irving, Josh Newton. It's an interesting position to be in.
It is, and I'm just looking at the positions you need. So that's taken. So corner and tight end is there to be taken. Tavondre Sweat is a bit of a head case, though. Great player, but he's a head case. And I'm probably going to agree with Nick here. I think he's someone I would probably avoid.
Stover's there, 107.
Yeah, I'm not taking Cade Stover.
I don't think Johnny Wilson's a bad shout here. Taking a chance on somebody that big who could play out wide.
You can get probably another receiver in the latter rounds. You took a Lad McConkey. You need to fill up something other positions.
I think Austin Booker's intriguing here. He's only played 505 career snaps, which I found out earlier, which is mental. But like he genuinely is a projection, looks really good. And I think if he can get more experience and more, coaching, he genuinely could be a steal at that point. But he's such an unknown, having played very little. But as a round 4, I wouldn't mind taking a stab at him there.
What do we know about Josh Newton? What do we know about Josh Newton out of TCU corner?
I saw a thing on him earlier where I think he's struggles a little bit with deep speed. I think he's had some injuries, but I've seen a write-up on him that said he could be drafted anywhere from round 2 to round 5. So his range in terms of where he could go is very, very broad. So it depends, really.
Yeah, I think he struggled last year, didn't he? I think he was a higher prospect the year before, if I'm not mistaken. But I think he's kind of got some tools. It's just like Kieran said, is that deep speed's an issue. So whether he would be able to kind of hang out wide, especially in our division with some faster receivers.
Sod it. Do you know what? I'm taking Bucky Irving.
Oh,
let's grab a running back because why not? I mean, I would have preferred Blake Corum, but he's not on the board. So pick up your 37. Where do we go for Cade Stover? There's a lot of tight ends on the board here. I want to check something quickly. Where are we? 137. Is he there at 37? Cade Stover. He's still sitting there. Oh, okay. Malik Washington has just popped up on the board. Interesting. Let's take high end position to see who he is.
Theo Johnson's there. Guy we spoke about last week.
Bingo.
Eric Hall, he's one of my sleepers in the late rounds.
Mm.
Might be able to get him on your next pick.
Double down on tight end.
No, not doubling down on tight end.
No,
Five
because
tight
we've just
ends.
signed. We've just signed one, haven't we? So
yeah. Have you seen my board? Have you seen my board? Look, tight end, tight end, tight end, tight end, tight end.
That's because you've got the tight end.
Yes. Now I just realised
highlighted.
that. Yes. Dickhead here has only just realised that. Okay.
Oh my God! There's loads of tight ends. Yeah, that's because you look in the tight end section.
Okay. Right.
That's like going in a Sainsbury's and saying, "Why is all the food frozen?" Well, you're in the freezer section, mate. Oh right. Okay.
Okay, so Eric, all you was right is there for the taking. This is like my pick. So James Daniels, McConkey, running back, tight end. Who am I missing? Corner. I'm missing a corner. So
You're a local guy sat there, Boston College, Elijah Jones.
I don't really watch Boston College, to be honest with you.
I don't think anyone does.
No.
I don't think the people in Boston watch Boston College either. They go and watch Stanford.
Should I just take Storm Duck just for laughs? What's her name? Storm Duck.
Sounds like a racehorse.
Sounds like a porn star.
I don't think Elijah Jones is a bad pick, to be fair. He's a big dude, isn't he?
And then you got the guy from Alabama. You know, I guess that trend may stop now that Belichick's gone. We might stop drafting everyone from Alabama. But yeah, obviously he's on the board at the DT. But
he could play 193.
Saban's gone as well.
Okay, so I'm take Elijah. We don't need more Joneses on corner though.
That's a good point.
That only makes him more attractive.
But we've just lost one of them, Jones. We do need to keep up with the Joneses. We've just lost.
Fine, we'll take Elijah Jones. Come on, we'll take Elijah Jones out of the corner. Okay, right. Let's go to all, so I'm not kicking myself here. Right, that player's got to be there. Okay, he's out 193. Let's go back to the safety position. Is he going to be there at that position? No. Do I risk it? There's a safety that I clocked on according to Patriots reporters. There was a safety that the Patriots were very, very high on. He is going in the later rounds, but they were very impressed with his work ethic, his commitment, and his attitude. That is Mark Perry out of TCU.
Right.
But he's at 224. Now, am I going to get him
nearly
before
30 places? 30 places. That's quite a reach.
Yeah, that's it.
But then again, is that your last pick, though? No, it's not.
No, this is my second to last pick. That's the problem. If I take him now, I'm leaving myself open for something else. But
I think you've got to take him. I think you've got to take him because if he's not in these later rounds, if there's someone there you want, you've got to really just take him and have done with it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let's go for it. Mark Perry. I'm happy with that one. Okay. So now I've got my pick of whatever the hell I want in the 7th round. Let's have a look. So quarterback, receiver, tackle, running back, tight end, corner, safety.
I wish I had my pick of whoever I wanted in the last round. Jeez.
I was over at the edge. Nothing really to write home about, if I'm honest. Defensive tackle. Do you know what? There's no harm in taking another receiver because we're devoid of talent anyway. So let's see what we got.
Well, your boy's on the board as well.
Who's that?
Drake Nugent.
That weren't my boy. That weren't my boy. Let's get a receiver. Right, there's a name that's been doing the rounds as of late. He's projected to go very, very late. He might go undrafted, so we might just be reaching here. Bub Means, the wide receiver out of Pittsburgh.
I have seen that connection. Yeah.
So, just so to get a receiver on the board on the team, take Bub Means. Wide receiver.
We're going to have Bub and Pop on our offense.
Bub and Pop.
We just need snap and crackle now.
Is there snap crackle? What would you see? Oh dear. Right. Draft results should be coming through now. Okay. All right. Go easy on me, guys. So here we go. So this was my draft. Jaden Daniels taken at 3. Lad McConkey at 34. Kieran Amagaji, offensive tackle at 68. Bucky Irving, running back out of Oregon, 103. Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State. Elijah Jones, corner out of the Boston College. Mark Perry, safety out of TCU. And Bub Means, wide receiver out of Pittsburgh. So, JD, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't think, again, with what the hand you were dealt, it was necessarily a bad draft. I think you made the same decision as me with McConkey over Morgan, which again I'm still not sure whether we've made the right choice there. I do like McConkey. I think you had the option of tackle in the 3rd round, which is probably the smart decision there. Again, I like him as well. I think he's a decent player. Amagaji? I can't pronounce his name. Kieran said Amagaji, that was the one. Thank you. Irvin and Theo Johnson, I'm a big fan of as well. I think both of them are good picks late in the rounds. Bub Memes, I don't know. I don't think I'm really interested in Bub Memes. Looking at his PFF scores, I don't know if that's somebody he's NFL ready.
It's either they're going to pan out. It's either they're going to pan out well, or he's just going to be practice squad fodder. So.
I just don't know whether he's somebody I'd personally taken a flyer on, but yeah, overall I thought you did a good job with the hand you were dealt.
Thank you very much. Kieran, what about you?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, obviously we've had similar with Jaden Daniels and Lad McConkey, so we've already kind of touched on that. I like Amagaji. I think he's a project. It might be a little bit higher than what he might go, but I think in terms of the tackles that were available at that time, he's definitely the best fit. You could play a core of 4 to start with on the left and have him develop and not play him straight away. I think you've nailed the middle rounds. Actually, the 3 middle picks. I think Bucky Irving, Theo Johnson, and Elijah Jones are 3 really good picks. I think Irving and Johnson can come and play straight away in sort of specific roles, and then obviously Elijah Jones goes into the corner rotation. And then I can't say I know too much about Mark Perry. I've heard of Bub Means, but I've not watched any of him. But I think that's pretty solid, to be fair. I think you've done quite well with what you were given.
Okay. Nick, what about you?
Same really. I mean, happy with the first 2 picks. I'd have gone differently at 68, but other than that, can't fault it really.
Okay, what about grades? Nick, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna stick with the same grade I've given everybody, B.
Okay. Kieran?
I'm going to slightly higher, a B+. I think you've done pretty well there.
Okay. And JD?
Yeah, B+ as well. I think Kieran touched on it with Elijah Jones' pick being pretty great value at that point. Getting a big corner that could potentially play on the outside at that point, I think is kind of warrants a higher grade. So yeah.
Okay. And we are back on our screens. That was quite exciting, quite entertaining. We've done our mocks. It's now time for the real drama to start this coming Thursday night, or the early hours of Friday morning, rather. Are we all staying up for this for round 1?
I am.
Yeah.
No, I have a toddler, so sleep is valuable. I'll watch it in the morning.
I have a toddler too, so
no. I've taken the day off work. The kids will be in bed. I will get up. After a couple of hours sleep, which is no difference for me, and take the kids to school, come back and go back to bed. So, and that charges my batteries ready for Friday night or Saturday morning. So, yeah, all good. So I'm looking forward to it.
I have quite the test of endurance coming up later this week, so I will be staying up for round 1. On Friday late morning, I still have a funeral to go to, but then I'll be staying up for round 2 and 3 the following night, and then on Saturday I'm driving from Ipswich to Hull to go and watch my team play in a very crucial game in the Championship, which is an 8 p.m. kickoff. By the way, which means I'm not going to get back home until 2:30 a.m. in the early hours of Sunday morning. So that is a real stretch of endurance that is going to test me with plenty of need for coffee and Red Bull and anything that's going to keep me awake for that time.
Yeah, you make a smart choice leaving Hull as soon as possible.
I've never been before, and it's not a place I ever envisaged myself going, but, you know,
As a Northern Rugby League fan who frequents Hull relatively often to watch the Leeds Rhinos play, you'd be making the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone who has to drive into Hull, it's literally drive into Hull, do what you need to do, and drive out of Hull as quick as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully we'll come back with 3 points. But and my car will still have wheels on it afterwards. Sorry to anyone listening from Hull, but you know.
I was going to say all the Hull listeners are switching off very rapidly. I hope you don't come away with 3 points. Go Hull.
Okay. Right. We are going to get on out of here. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. Thank you to everyone that's been tuning in. Thank you to Nick, to Johnny, and to Kieran. That was a very, very entertaining show, nonetheless. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out and hit the like button. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow us on the Sports Social Network for the podcast. And on early hours of Friday.
Myself and Luke are on tomorrow with a special for roster bit. Hopefully Luke's feeling better. Our special on roster building and whether the QB is the most important position on the field, but it's about building the roster correctly and whether protection outweighs production at the moment. So we're going to do a special tomorrow, and then we'll be straight on to the draft on Thursday.
It will basically, so I've got to be the referee in this one tomorrow night. So you and Luke, if you've got any sharp objects, please remove them out of the room before you do the argument. But yeah, so tomorrow night we'll be back for that show. And on Thursday night, I think me and Nick had a discussion back in the green room. We, the Patriots Touchback, we will be going live for the full 32 round 1 draft itself. So me and Nick will go live. I've asked Nick to use a suit, a wig, and glasses because he's going to be the Mel Kiper, looking like a very manly Rosie O'Donnell. But you know, we will see what happens with that. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. This has been the Patriots Touchback podcast, and we are out of here. Thank you and good night.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.